Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today to learn about the advantages of computerization. If you're interested where we are from, we're joining you from Red Deer, Alberta tonight. Visualize is a premium practice management software. We've been partnering with the Canadian eye care industry for 25 years now, and our focus has always been to streamline business processes. So while we are a software company, we really view that as a tool to help you streamline and grow your business. So our focus is always on those best practices. And with that being said, Visualize is designed to let you practice your own way. So we know that everybody is different, practices a little bit uniquely. And so you can use Visualize and tailor it to fit your own needs. For myself, my name is Nicole. I'm very happy to be meeting with everybody tonight. I'm one of the practice consultants with Visualize. So I work with clinics throughout their transition process, helping with the change management and giving them guidance as they move through the computerization process. So if you have further questions, there's a good chance we'll chat a little bit more and we'll get to know each other. I also work with existing clinics that have further questions looking to take their practice to the next level. Joining us today is Anne. She'll be helping out with the questions as they come through. If there's anything that's a quick answer, she'll be giving that as we go, and other questions will be saved for the end of the presentation. So we'll let her say hello as well.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here today. So as Nicole mentioned, I'm the president of Visualize, and I do a little bit of everything. And one of the things I do is help out my practice consultants whenever I can. So Nicole, take it away.
All right, then. Perfect. Thanks, Anne. We're always happy to have you here. So today we're going to be focusing on a few key advantages of becoming computerized. So one of those is reduced paper files. Has anyone ever felt like they're drowning in paper charts, paper files? Um, Hopefully not quite to this extent in the photo here, but I'm sure you can somewhat relate if you are the fully based practice and you've been that way for a long time. I know I've spoke over time with clinics who have been fully paper based for many, many years, and their biggest problem is that they have no physical space left for their files. Um, and so going to that computerized solution can help give you that space back and utilize it for other things. Reducing those files also helps you save headaches in some cases. So you save headaches, but space, but you also are saving headaches. So that could be a misplaced file. I'm not sure if you've ever been in that position of a misplaced file with a patient. So you're digging through, but it's just not where it should be. So those kinds of things can be eliminated when you go to the computerized solution because you're not digging in the back for files. But on a greater scale, it can also be used in the sense of disaster recovery. So this would be more so in the event of a fire or a flood, a major disaster. Some of you may know of the flood in Calgary in 2013. This unfortunately resulted in one of our clinics essentially going underwater. And so it was a huge amount of cleanup. They had to essentially rebuild it. But because they had that backup available, we were able to get them set up in a temporary location. So they had minimal downtime, but more importantly, they didn't lose any of their patient paper, their patient files. So just thinking about how differently that would have been had they been fully paper-based. So that's one great advantage of being able to go to the computerized solution. The reduced paper files will also help you save in the way of time. So a lot of times you can find what you're looking for faster. If you're on the phone with the person, you don't have to put them on hold, run to the back and check through the files. You can just pull it up on the screen in front of you. Oftentimes, it will also reduce your amount of duplicate entering. That could be something as simple as putting a patient's phone number in. So you might be putting the phone number or the address on multiple forms or sheets of paper, maybe as well as in the computer for those of you who are doing the hybrid. Um, One solution that's going to help streamline will help reduce that kind of double entry. Another huge advantage of going to a computerized solution is it gives you the opportunity to leverage technology. This past year is proof that the world is always changing, and having the technology in place gives you that ability to pivot so that you can continue to connect with your patients on multiple levels. One example of that is online booking. Thinking about your own lives in your own world, have you ever felt maybe the convenience of being able to book an appointment for something online at a time that's convenient for you, maybe after you've gotten home from work in the evenings? Chances are your patients have also felt that advantage in similar situations and would love the opportunity to be able to book at your office even after you've closed. Many of our clinics and opticals this past year have also begun adding appointments for things like frame selections or pickups for their glasses or contact lenses. So, as more things need an appointment, it's become a very useful tool in that area. And coming in on a Monday after you've closed for a weekend, it's a great feeling if you've got appointments that have booked while you're at home. So, that online booking part can be very beneficial. Communicating with your patients electronically through appointment reminders, recalls, or job order reminders can also be very helpful. So you can save a little bit on that staff time because it's doing the work for you and contacting them for you. And taking it to that next step, you could also send out things like surveys. So that could be something after they've been in for an appointment, or it could be a situation where they've picked up glasses. Maybe you don't have the time to do a follow up call, but you want to have that extra touch point. Uh, these types of basic surveys can be a great way that you can still connect with your patients. So if they're happy, perfect. They can review online, hopefully, so you can direct them there. Equally important, though, if it's not working for them, we also want to know that. So that just gives them that extra opportunity where they don't feel like they're maybe nagging to call, just opens up the door for communication. It could be something as simple as the heights were off. And so they were having a hard time. And that just lets them tell you so that it can be adjusted instead of having to wait another year or potentially losing a returning customer. So there is a lot you can do with those kinds of quick surveys for patients. You can also use email marketing to connect with patients. And so that could be something like a birthday email, as in the example here, or it could be something um, like notifying patients of your frame sales. So letting them know you've got a frame sale coming up and getting that information out. From a clinical standpoint, you can also use this if you're promoting dry eye products or any kind of specific promotion material to your clientele. So there's a lot that you could do with that. You can also leverage your technology to speed up your internal processes, not only when communicating with your patients. One example where Visualize is able to help with that type of thing is if you're wanting to order your jobs directly from your program. So rather than writing it down and then potentially going online and putting it into the online site as well for the lab, or putting it into your computer and then going online as well, or faxing it in, you can just do it in one place and send it from there. So taking that extra step out, and again, just maybe having less transcription errors potentially because you're only putting it in one place. Your internal processes can often also be improved with equipment integrations. So as an example for the optometrists or refracting opticians, if you have equipment that can import into your exam form, that's another step that could be saved. Whereas in the dispensary, if you're thinking about all of the digital dispensing equipment that continues to come out as time continues on, we're keeping getting more of those types of options. Those could also be going into a job order form. Again, just saving you that extra step, the time and transcription errors. So moving on into another advantage of that computerization is overall business control. We'll start by talking about our frame inventory management. If I were to ask you the value of your frame inventory or even how many frames you had in stock right now, would you know it or would you be able to easily find it out? It's actually a very important question to be able to answer for a number of reasons. But one example I'll give is in the example of theft. So again, something we hope doesn't happen, but better to be over-prepared than under-prepared. We have in the past, unfortunately, had clinics that have experienced theft. One particular clinic that I'll give a little bit more example of, based on their area, they had a series of break-ins. And so as a result, they had to provide additional detail to the insurance companies, just informing them of the current value of their inventory, but also historical inventory values. And so depending on where you're at and what your life looks like, what your clinic is like, it's always good to be able to pull not only my value today, but what my value maybe was from my inventory a week ago or a month ago and further back. So being able to pull out that information quickly and easily to save time. So had they not been able to grab that information very easily, it would have taken a large number of time and maybe it would have been very tricky for them to do that. So it was very good that they could pull that out. Still on the same topic of the frame side of things, you're also able to track things like your back ordered frames, maybe your frame credits that you have on file. So whether that be a warranty frame or something that you're returning back to your rep. So those types of things can be easily tracked with a computerized solution. Also with your frame rep reports, it gives you that chance to know what's selling. And so you may have a fairly good idea of what sells well within your office. Different locations, of course, different areas will sell differently. But being able to pull it up and have that confirmation and seeing the actual data in front of you can be very helpful in making those business decisions. So being able to see what your turn rate is for a particular line, what price points are selling best, maybe even what colors typically go best or styles. So those kinds of things can help you make those decisions. It's really nice to be able to pull that information out prior to meeting with your frame rep. Still looking at our business control, but looking at the full job order management as a whole. Going to computerized solution gives you that opportunity to have defined pricing and promotion structure. So let's say we wanted to do a summer sale and we wanted to be able to see how many people actually came in because of summer sale or used that summer promotion. Is this something we want to look at doing again next year or not? So you can be able to track those types of promotional packages and things like that and have that defined pricing. With a system like Visualize as well, you're also able to have up-to-date lens catalogs. So if they're updating their price list, their catalog, maybe they've increased their prices. If you're using a markup, you can also easily have your prices reflect that as well, so that you're not missing out on the margin. You're passing that on as well if they've increased their pricing. Thinking day to day with your order tracking, you're also able to see things if you've got any kind of lab delays, what kind of multi-pair orders you have or redos, and also your pickups. So if you are wanting to pull a list of your pickups, let's say from the past week, and do those check-in calls, we like to call them happy calls. Hopefully everybody's happy at the end of the call, and if they're not, then that's what we're here for, is to fix that. And so you can do those types of lists that you can pull up and see where everything is at. That overarching business control also allows you to see different account tracking. You've got detailed reporting that you can get, so you again know where things are at. So this particular example is an example of a turn rate report. So you have a better feel for how certain lines are doing, what's sold, what you have in stock, so what your actual turn rate is. Maybe you're overstocked, maybe you're understocked for a particular line. This style of report could help you with that. And that's just one example of a different type of detailed reporting that you could get. From that financial standpoint, you could also pull reports for your accounts receivable. You could pull things for your sales report, for the optometrists doing provincial billings. You could also use those reports and have proper billing management. So you know what's paid versus what's refused or hasn't been sent out and that type of thing. So you have that better ability to properly manage that aspect. In terms of data analysis, many of you over your education have likely heard of key metrics, and being able to pick certain key metrics and focus on them typically helps you grow and increase them. So as an example, if I'm looking at my new patient ratio, I want to see how many new patients I'm getting in a particular time period. If I can pull that and continue to review that, it's likely that it's going to increase. And if it's not, then I know I can adjust something to do that. So being able to pull that information up can be very beneficial in increasing that for you. So we've talked about a number of different advantages with computerization. Um, Overarching though, what they're going to do is to help streamline your business. It's going to give you that ease of access to information and help you gain control over your time. So those are really what a full solution can do for you. Now, if that sounds great, but your question is, okay, well, how do I choose the right solution for me? Well, there are a few very important questions that you'll want to keep in mind. They might sound basic or straightforward, but they're vital in choosing the right solution for you. The first one is change management. So asking yourself and asking them, what does change management look like? Is there any training available? Is there anybody there to guide and coach you through it? So how are you getting from where you are today, whether it's fully paper-based or a combination of both, to where you want to go potentially moving forward? So making sure that there's a plan available for you. If you are computerized or partially computerized, do you need a data conversion and can that be done is also another question you'll want to keep in mind. You will also want to consider key features. So what are you actually looking to solve? What pain points are you looking to get rid of essentially with going to a computerized solution? Is it that you do have too many paper files? Or you're doing that double entry, or you want online booking and you don't currently have a way to do that? So what are you actually looking to get from it? Maybe it's integrations that you're looking for that you don't have as an option right now, whether it is connecting for the job orders or whether you are wanting to email or text your patients. Thinking about what is important for you is really critical when you're going through those motions. And I would suggest writing them down. You also want to consider if there is room to grow. So whether that means you want to grow within your own office, or maybe that means you want to expand down the road to a second or third office. What does that look like? And is it an option with that solution? So knowing and understanding where you want to go and if they can actually accommodate that and go there with you is also important, as well as continued innovations. Because technology is always changing, always improving, you want to make sure that what you get is going to also evolve and grow with you and grow as technology grows, if that's, of course, what you're looking for. So if you want to make sure that it's going to continue to evolve, knowing that there's a plan in place to do that. You'll also want to consider what support looks like. Is it available? And you also want to know how you can access it. Even more than that, you'll want to know if there's additional education materials for you or resources. If you wanted to self-study or get to the next step or just refresh or review certain information, is that available to you? So those are all very important key questions to keep in mind as you go through that process if you're looking to find out more about different types of solutions. I'll give you a quick idea of the Visualize Way. The Visualize Way is really, it's a partnership between us and our clinics. We always start out by essentially getting to know them a little bit more. We have a virtual tour demonstration of Visualize where they can see the flow of the program and get a little bit of an understanding of how it might work in their own office. And we understand a little bit more what their needs would be. For those that are just starting out, maybe they're in the process of working on floor plans, we're also happy to review those as well and provide feedback based on what we've seen work well in the past. Throughout the implementation process, there's guided training. Will help you from the beginning to your launching of Visualize. There's time to practice and set up and get it set up the way that you want. And when you do launch visualize on your first day, your first few days typically, we recommend booking light. So when you go to computerized solution, that's what I would always suggest is letting yourself and your team just ease into it and have the chance to do everything correctly and really get comfortable. We do have support, dedicated support and guidance throughout that whole process. And our dedicated support team continues after you've gone live as well. So they're there for visualized product support. They're there if you have questions on any of that. They're also there to help with updates and take feedback. So a lot of the implementations that we've done in terms of integrations and new features, those ideas come from our clinics. So it is really that partnership. When we have ideas come to us, that's what goes to our development team, and that's how we choose what goes into the system. So we're constantly growing with them to continue to expand. So that's the visualize aspect of things. All right, so thanks everyone. Feel free to contact us at the email address, the phone number, or visit our website. We'd be happy to touch base again. We hope you all have a great evening.